You're right, guys. So we are back, just ahead of the US JOLTS job openings report. Currently 14 minutes away. We've received obviously US GDP, Euro CPI. So just got a little bit of news whilst we're waiting for this report. So Euro CPI declined by 0.6% to 10%. Okay, so still relatively high. However, we saw a relative decrease. GDP, US GDP fell. GDP price index fell. PCE prices fell. Higher than expected. What else have we got here for you? This tentative agreement to make sure they avoid a rail strike. It does look like we're getting weaker data, so we should see a pop up. So to that legislation, then it goes to the Senate, and while you JOLTS forecast is 10.3, previous was 10.717. What you kind of really want to look at is a larger decline. So if it comes in beneath. So if it comes in beneath the forecast, then we can expect crypto to start to rally, and the dollar index to actually make a turnaround. So we'll have to keep a close eye on all of this as it comes out. We're 11 minutes away, very, very close. As you can see here, we are starting to see weakness on the dollar. So, I mean, it's setting up for something, right? So, yeah, let's see what we can get from here. Reports about potentially how there's going to be a shakeup in the administration, especially when it comes after midterms. But one thing that it's important to remember is that there wasn't this red wave in the midterm elections, which also maybe would have given the White House a little bit more oomph to say we're going to be shifting. So we got three trades, as you can see. Okay, so our Litecoin trade from yesterday is still running. We got a Matic trade that we opened earlier on this morning on the live stream. And then obviously, as you can see, we've got that Bitcoin trade open now. As you can see from the chart, we took away the symmetrical triangle that it was forming. It broke out to the downside. Again, something that we did touch on this morning. So it broke out. We are retesting it currently, right? It's fallen perfectly to that square. However, there's a little bit more room that it can come down. So we could actually, on the release of this data, see a very quick downward spike into the area of support and then spike back up. Again, it really does depend on the data that we get out here. So we'll see how things going to play out. I mean, if the JOLTS opening comes in higher than, ideally you want to see it higher than previous or very close to the previous, so very little change compared to what we got in the previous month. Then yeah, we could see a decline in crypto or risk on assets. As things stand, we are seeing weakening signs across the board, so it could be the case that we start seeing some weakening signs within the US labor market. So putting that together with the weaker CPI reading that we got from the US last month or earlier on this month, sorry. Yeah, that's going to push towards that Fed's
pivot narrative. So we could actually be looking at a slowdown in the rate hiking cycle. Maybe it'll come out at 17,200. So we're on about Bitcoin, yeah. So as you can see, take profit 2 is at 17,271. So yeah, 17,2 isn't too far off. We've got a nice area of resistance. So this has got a nice area of supply. So between 17,550 and 17,2 as well. Let's call it 17,300 roughly. There's some decent resistance there. So that's where we're expecting prices to push up to if we do get a break out of. So ideally we want to get a break out of this top here, and then a break out of obviously take profit 1 just here. So these two levels we want to see a break. So if we can get the first break out of 16,950, it'll come up and hopefully test hopefully come and test, obviously take profit 1, and then if we break through take profit 1, we will move into take profit 2. Do I have a link of the announcement? So if you simply type into Google economic calendar Bloomberg, okay, it's free to use. Just click on that and then just select today's date on the filter section at the top, and the announcement or the figure will be automatically uploaded onto that calendar in real time. We've got it up here. This is what we use all the time. Everything gets, all the stats get uploaded in real time. You don't need to purchase anything. It's free to use. So yeah, that's how we kind of keep in touch with all of the news. Now, as well, just a little tip. If you don't obviously if you don't use Bloomberg, you can use the Bloomberg Radio completely free of charge, and you get obviously the exact same as if you were watching the actual Bloomberg channel. Okay, so it's very useful to have these things kind of running in the background, just as background noise, and just getting another opinion on the figures and what they kind of mean. But yeah, hopefully we get this slowdown in jolts. We should see a slowdown. If we don't see a slowdown, then I mean, if it comes in higher than previous, we'll see a decline, and we will see a push up higher in the dollar index. Just bear in mind the setup that we've had in dollar index from the past couple of days. It's tested that 4 hour 200 moving average. I think there's a 4 hour, yeah, 4 hour. It might have been the daily. Yeah, the daily 200 moving average was tested a couple of days ago. So that's something that we need to be in touch with. So if the data starts to come in that the labor market is still hot, that's more than likely to have set the bottom, and it's free reign to make a move up higher. Now that is if we get obviously data. Do expect volatility. There's going to be squeezes either side, liquidations up and below. Normally, whenever there's US data being released, there's always volatility in the market, and you normally see wicks on the top side and the bottom side. So, yeah, let's be careful of that. Minutes into the session, pretty muted. Well, we've got 3 minutes.
change, slightly positive on the Nasdaq by a third of 1%. As the price action, here's the trading diary. First up, top of the hour, Joel's job openings coming up in about 4 minutes' time. President Biden speaking at 11:30 Eastern, followed by Fed Chair Jay Powell at 1:30 p.m. I'm hoping he wraps that up quickly. I can see the plane at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Jobless claims tomorrow morning. Then it's on to payrolls Friday. The estimate in our survey, 200K from New York City. Thank you for choosing Bloomberg TV. Good luck for the rest of the trading day. This was the countdown to the open. This is Bloomberg.
So we got a decent amount of volume coming in on that New York Open. Always good. So 2 minutes out. Those that are just joining us, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so we've got a few trades open. We've got Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Matic longs, as well as our long-term short plays that we are slowly positioning into on each of the highs. Obviously, we are expecting things to turn around in the long term, right? So we will continue to position into our shorts on each of those highs with a long-term perspective. So 1 minute. Here we go. What does it say? Oh, it's just come very close. So 10.334 million. Very close to the forecast. Okay. It is below previous. Okay, so there is a slight weakening there. Not an instant reaction. So we are seeing a little bit of a decline. Could be the case that we just come into that level of support a little bit more and then follow the market. So let's see what's happening over on the dollar index. Okay, seeing a little bit of a prop up. Ideally, we would have wanted to see about 10.2. That would have been a nice figure to have hit. But still, I mean, it's a decline, a little bit above forecast. So we'll see how markets react. I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary. So, I mean, as you can see, markets haven't exactly gone too wild. It's going to take a few minutes to settle in, and then the market will make its move. So let's see.
The Powell playbook. We're going to count you down to Fed Chair Jay Powell's speech at the Brookings Institution after mixed economic data. And you got job market cracks, hiring slowing to the slowest pace in nearly 2 years. Tech layoffs mount with DoorDash now laying off over 1,000 people. And China is a boom or bust. The economic activity index falling, COVID cases surge to a record, and the government promises a crackdown on hostile forces. We're going to speak exclusively with BHP's CEO, Mike Henry. From New York, I'm Alex Steele with my co-host in London, Guy Johnson. Welcome to Bloomberg Markets. And Guy, this is all on top of some really mixed economic data that we got out. That ADP really rolling over, but that third quarter GDP and consumer spending and business spending still super solid.
Yeah, the ADP number, what do you do with it? The Chicago PMI really sucks.
Really bad.
Let's talk a little bit about the pending home sales numbers and the JOLTS numbers. The JOLTS are better. The labour market's holding up, folks. I don't know if you've noticed, but despite what we saw with the ADP number, the JOLTS number looks good. You've got 10,334,000. The expectation was 10,250,000. We are down from a revised lower number last time round of 10,717. But nevertheless, this is
So yeah,
kind of
let's see how things kind of react as they kind of come a little bit lower. As you heard,
that is definitely falling off a cliff right now.
It's still not an amazing figure, really indicating that the jobs market is weakening. But I mean, it's not
I guess it depends on what
coming
you're
in
talking
above
about. I mean, do you
previous,
believe
so
that we lost 100,000 jobs in manufacturing?
it's going to take a little bit of time just to settle in here.
If you don't believe it, then yes, the labor market is holding up a lot better than, say, the housing market, for example.
Yeah, that would certainly be the take at the moment. Look, you've got a robust labour market. You've got a consumer, Alex Steele, I'm looking at you here, that is still fairly robust and is still spending money. She tells me
I have stopped it. I have stopped spending money, and my husband said, as of this time, okay, let's see. But it's true, I have stopped.
Okay, for now. The consumer looks pretty good. The housing market is rolling over. Let's talk more about this data. You can get our take, or you can get Mike McKee.
They're down 36% some odd on a year-over-year basis. One of the problems we've had with the housing market is that there hasn't been enough inventory for people to buy. So even before the Fed started raising rates, pending home sales were falling. Now, what happens because home prices have fallen again if the Fed starts to pause or people get used to it, or as we've seen recently, mortgage rates come down a little bit? Do we see housing start to pick up again, and then that become another problem for the Fed?
So, Mike, today, what is Powell's goal when he talks? Does he not want to make waves?
I mean, things are holding right now.
What's his goal here, taking in all this data?
I think it's just sort of to set a clear path going forward. He probably will confirm that they're looking at 50 basis points because they want to look at the cumulative effect of tightening. And you've got some
they're
holding.
That
is starting to take hold. The ADP number, as Guy says, whatever you make of it. And you look at the pending home sales numbers, and you look at that Chicago PMI number, and it looks like the Fed is starting to have an impact on the economy. Then the issue is, do the markets follow along and price appropriately? And you look at the at this point financial conditions, and they've gotten looser in recent weeks. So perhaps he wants to emphasize again that the Fed is still going to go higher, and then they're going to stay there for a long time. Remember, John Williams said yesterday, throughout 2023 and maybe into 2024. So that does not jibe with what you see in the futures markets for Fed rates.
No, it doesn't. Not yet. They're working hard to push that out.
The dollar index is going, setting some levels.
Today, Michael McKee, Bloomberg International Economics and Policy correspondent. So let's get back to the housing data that just crossed. Joining us now, Danielle Hale, Realtors.com chief economist. Okay, so we're looking at that pending home sales number month on month down 4.6%. Bad, but could have been worse.
See just a little bit of a push down into that
actually, for the month
support
before,
zone.
But still low.
Potentially
What's your take on
test
these numbers right now?
Moving average here on the 15-minute before making a move back up. At the moment, it's holding relatively well. So we'll see how much longer it can do that for.
Consumer inflation data, mortgage rates dropped by about 0.5%, and they have hovered at this lower level as you were discussing. Markets expect the Fed to maybe be a little bit softer in response to reduced inflation data. I don't know if markets are right about that, but we'll see. Maybe Chair Powell will give us some more insight today. But as a result, mortgage rates have come down, and so that could potentially help going forward. And so I think, considering where mortgage rates were in October, today's pending home sales not terrible, although certainly significantly lower than they were 1 year ago.
Danielle, good morning. It's Guy. This is a market that feels broken. There isn't enough inventory. There isn't enough stock coming into the market. Anecdotally, you talk to people that I work with, they are struggling to find a home to buy. They keep being priced out or
Does look
beaten
like
out
dollar
from
index
buying
is
a
going
home.
to push up higher, potentially
And
going
it
to fill
seems
up
like
that
the market
gap.
is really struggling right now. What do we need to do to ungum
Just
it?
waiting for the market to settle itself,
I
make
think it
a
takes time
decision
to
as to
adjust.
which
So
way
we
it wants to
released
go
our
and how to
2023
take
housing forecast today, and
this
as you
data
noted, the
really.
market is really stuck in making
So
this transition. Mortgage rates have moved very dramatically, up, over 350 basis points in the last year. It takes time for buyers and
what else
sellers
have we got?
to
So tomorrow we
reset
got
to those higher costs
jobless
that they're
claims.
facing and to adjust
What else have
pricing.
we got tomorrow? We
The
got
first
some more
step is
PCE
that
tomorrow.
transactions slow as people adjust to this new normal, and then it takes time to
What else have we got
acclimate
tomorrow?
to what's going to be the right affordability level going forward. The market can become more affordable if
Manufacturing
mortgage rates
PMI,
adjust slower. We've seen a little bit of
ISM.
that. I don't know how long lasting that will be. I expect that'll be a bit temporary. But mortgage rates could come down. That would help. Incomes could go up. We have a still strong jobs market that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Or we could see
So
prices
we've
soften.
got
We have seen a little bit of
well, we've got Jerome Powell's
we expect
speech
that's going to continue going forward. We will
later on
we
today.
expect to still see home price growth, but at a much softer pace than we've seen over the last couple of years.
So
We
Danielle,
didn't
what is
really
the
get
reaction
too
function of
much
people when it comes to
on
mortgage
the
rates?
last
Is it the
speech.
absolute level or is it the speed? Because if we're off the peak,
Nothing
does that kind of
much
help
has
bring
really
buyers in, or
changed
do we need to see
since.
sort of a more rapid decline in mortgage rates?
So
I think so. The absolute level is what affects affordability, but then people, kind of become attached or start shopping at one rate, and so they set their budget based on that. I don't think they're always quick to adjust their budget, although there are plenty of online tools that make it a lot easier to do.
A little bit
Maybe
on
than it has been in the past.
Europe.
But not everyone tracks mortgage rates day to
and
day.
that situation that's happening over here. We are seeing a little bit of slowdown on CPI in Europe.
We will see an adjustment. The other thing, though, is the trajectory.
There's a little bit of a glimpse of light at the moment.
That creates a strong
Hence why the dollar index did make a very nice pullback.
Mortgage rates take up. Now that they're past the peak and declining a little bit, that takes away
it's
some
kind of
of
in
the
limbo at the
urgency.
moment.
So buyers don't
If you have a look on the high time frame, we are kind of obviously we've come down. We've tested that 200 moving average on the daily, and now literally just fluctuating up and down. We are setting some positive structure here, so it's really kind of setting up for some worsening news, really.
Can I just go back to the seller side of the equation? If you are a seller and you have a low rate,
see how things
you are less inclined to sell because you are going to have to move to a house in which you're going to have a higher rate. As rates come down, how quickly does that change that equation?
Yeah, I think a lot of sellers or a lot of potential sellers, so homeowners, have likely locked in rates, 3% or even lower.
Yeah, by the looks of it, we're going to push up.
And so I think we've got a long way to go before
test this level of resistance again. This nice order block here, and then essentially and hopefully we make a nice turnaround. As you can see, Bitcoin is still holding. So
with lower
still holding
very, very well. Right now, or that homeowners have
even
right
though
now,
the dollar index is making a push up.
Faster. So you're paying more towards principal when you have a lower mortgage rate. And I think that's going to help them get to a position where the mortgage rates don't matter as much. And if you look at the amount of equity in aggregate that households have today, it's higher than it's been since the 1990s. And so that means that mortgage rates for those existing homeowners become a little bit less important.
Danielle, quick question. I'm trying to sell a condo on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. When should I do that?
So we're going to look at what's happening.
No, I don't live there. I want to get rid of it.
But I think if you're ready to make a move, now is the time.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we got that one sorted out. Yep. Danielle, thank you very much indeed. Danielle Hale.
You're holding quite nicely.
Thank you very much indeed. Okay, coming up, more on Fed Chair Jay Powell's speech today. We're going to get the market playbook from Anna Haag of Wells Fargo Securities. That's next. This is Bloomberg.
Striving to reach the ultimate goal of zero poverty takes more than everyone's hopes and dreams. It takes funding. That's how Citi's helping, by committing $1 trillion in sustainable finance by 2030. Because it takes everything to reach zero poverty.
At SAS, we love bold questions. Because with the right analytics, we make data do amazing things, like make the world safer, faster, healthier, and kinder. All we have to do is ask the data. SAS.
Right, let me get some of this stuff out of the way. It's kind of intruded review. Really not much of a reaction off this data, so I mean, we've still got European close to come. So between 3:30 and about 4:30ish, 5ish, we should see some movement. So really nothing major coming off the back end of that news. I guess we're looking towards the Fed speech later on, and then looking at jobless claims tomorrow, and then ahead to the big day, which is Friday's non-farm payrolls data. That's where all the important movement's going to come. Friday is going to be a very big day. Obviously, we start a brand new month. Today's the last day in November. So
it's really going to create angst amongst the Fed. If we see employment cost index not come down, other wage indicators like hourly earnings not come down.
Now it's Alan Ruskin of Deutsche Bank earlier on Bloomberg Television discussing the Fed's data dilemma. And our question of the day is, what is Powell's playbook going into his speech today at the Brookings Institution? Anna Hahn, equity strategist at Wells Fargo Securities, joins us now. What's the market looking for today at 1:30?
I think what we need to see is that the Fed is going to not be tone deaf, to see that inflation trend is starting to come down, and that perhaps they will ease their foot off the gas pedal. That's different than pressing the brakes, though. At the same time, communicate the message that inflation, this is not a battle that is over. This could last quite some time, and to not jump ahead and price in those rate cuts too soon.
And if you look at it the other way, though, the labour market seems strong. Financial conditions are easing. The consumer, and yet again, I'm talking about Alex Steele here, is out spending money. Mortgage rates are coming down. I'm assuming all of these things are not what the Fed wants to see.
Dollar index is making a push up higher, and Bitcoin is really not moving.
Which is happening slowly, but maybe too slowly.
Which is a bit of an indication that
essentially
you want to make a move up higher.
Good news can be bad news for equities. If the economy is very strong, then perhaps the chairman Powell and the Fed have to do a bit more, get more aggressive. But if we're starting to see indicators, and we are, particularly in consumption, you're seeing that people are starting to use those credit card debt lines. You're seeing that excess spending.
Well, just remember, on Bitcoin, we can still push down into this level here. We only very slightly tapped it, so we can still push down to around this level and still look good for a push up higher.
Just a little more likely.
Hey, Anna, how
still very
united
much on
do
the
you think
cards,
the Fed
even if
is?
we
Are we
come
starting
down
to see
here,
some
guys.
cracks?
So,
It's clear that Powell is going to be more on the hawkish side. Is everyone still on the same team here?
Well, they're certainly on the same team, but I think naturally you're going to see as we transition from this perhaps what seems to be peacockish to a little more of a slowdown. Consensus expecting 50 basis points instead of 75
even
next
the
week.
altcoins
So
are
that's
starting
going to
to
push some
kind
of
of
the Fed
hold
numbers into a
and
more
want to push
dovish
up
camp.
higher.
And as we get that transition, it's really looking at where the median is and where really the big
Things are
spokespeople are
holding
on this
very,
Fed
very
team.
well.
Anna, Jay Powell clearly has a problem with equities going higher. During the press conference after the last meeting, somebody said that stocks were going higher. You could almost see steam coming out of his ears. How does he deal today with that scenario of, if he's not uber hawkish, if he's not hawkish, equity markets are likely to go up rather than down? It clearly is a problem for him. How does he resolve that issue?
I think part of the tailwind for equities that we've seen, at least throughout this month and last month, was really the move in yields. As we saw after that CPI print earlier this month, you saw that people were a bit relieved to see the trend moving lower, and that brought the break-evens,
So,
that
just building on
inflation aspect
what they're saying on equities.
And that brought yields lower. That helps equities float higher a little bit. For
If you
Chairman
guys
Powell,
obviously
I think he
were
sees equities
trading
really as sort
off
of a risk appetite measure,
that
and
last
he doesn't
CPI
want
reading
people
from
to
the
get
US,
too gung-ho back
whether it
into the
be
risk
crypto or
markets when we
equities, so
still
they're
have a
both
long
regarded as
inflation
risk-on
fight ahead,
assets.
and the yields
So
still are
they
probably,
will
in our
basically
perspective, going to be above 4%
follow the same
on the 10-year
fundamentals.
for at least the first half of next
There
year.
was a
So
very,
what do you
very,
buy in
very
that
sharp
environment?
move.
Right now, we're
That's
looking at
when
momentum.
we kind
We're
of got
looking at really
our
the trends following now.
bear
Sounds like a
market
boring
rally,
game,
right?
not the sexiest play. At the
Which
same time,
just
in an
because of
environment where people are still concerned
it
about
was
a
weaker
recession, whether it's going to be
inflation,
mild
which
or more
was
aggressive,
exactly what
in
the
that
markets wanted to
recessionary
see for a
scenario,
very long
that
time.
trend following
It was
style tends to really
kind of
outperform. And so
further
far,
along
that's been
the
certain sectors
Fed's
in healthcare like
rate
biotech and the
cycle.
energy
So
markets.
post
On the other
three
hand, what's been
75
low
basis
momentum
point
continues to be
increases,
the growthier aspects such
and
as
then
semis
obviously
and software
seeing
and tech.
weaker inflation coming in.
Anna, in many ways, a lot of people's consensus
Kind of push that
certainly has
narrative
equity
that
markets going pretty much
the Fed's going
sideways
to come
next year.
in December at
Inaccurately,
50
it is,
basis points
but we
and
ultimately
start
rise back
kind
to
of
maybe where we are
declining
now.
on
If you look across the
its
Bloomberg
rate hikes.
expectations, that's what you're seeing.
And
How
that's
do I
what
beat
the
the index
markets
next
are
year?
still holding
How do
on
I
to.
actually achieve that?
Okay.
Is it simply by buying indexes in and out, or do I need to be more specific in where I'm going? You've just given
we've
us
got
some
non-farm
ideas,
payrolls
but
on
are those going to
Friday.
be enough to beat the index?
And if we don't see a significant change in terms of it coming in higher and still signaling that there is a strong labour market, okay, and we see, let's say, a figure around the 200k mark, that's then starting to show signs that the labour market is weakening. Now, obviously, this jobs data is kind of unchanged, so there isn't real signs that companies are one, employing less or opening less jobs. So it's kind of still meaning that we've got a tight labour market, okay? But the non-farm payrolls data is the most important figure. You're right, Osman, how you doing? Yeah. We'll see what's happening on this on the end of non-farm payrolls. That'll give us a better insight as to CPI.
At SAS, we love bold
and then a better idea as to potentially how Jerome Powell is going to come in the December interest rate decision. But yeah, as you can see, things are holding. I mean, dollar index is making a nice move up to the upside. However, crypto continues to hold. Right, so we can touch base on here. Gap has been filled up now. Okay, so there's a nice order block here, as you can see. There'll be liquidity to be captured here, and then we could actually see a turnaround. So prices push up and then make a turnaround all the way down here. If we get this very strong move to the downside, we can expect a nice push up in prices on the crypto market But we'll see how things kind of react as they reach that level of resistance there. But that's what we're kind of holding on to for now. But yeah, just from this, obviously we're getting a nice push up on the dollar index, right? And Bitcoin is
a compromise that would allow the Max 7 and Max 10 to move forward before a late December certification deadline, whilst also requiring an additional sensor system. The proposal hasn't been finalised and is opposed by some lawmakers and family members of passengers who died in crashes of the two models in 2018 and 2019. Apollo Global Management knows how to rock. Bloomberg's learned that the firm is selling a $1.65 billion bond backed by songs from Phil Collins and the group REM. It is the first securitization by Concord Music Royalties. Apollo has already secured an anchor order for a large chunk of the debt. And the former CEO of the collapsed crypto exchange FTX is set to face the public today. Sam Bankman-Fried has said he will go through with a planned speaking engagement at the New York Times Deal Book Summit. One of the big questions, how did FTX end up with an $8 billion shortfall? And that is your latest business flash, Alex.
All right, thanks so much, Riddick. I'm speculating, but I'm having a really hard time understanding how SBF is going to be showing up for this. I understand he's in the Bahamas and it's going to be on video, but still, wouldn't his lawyers be like, go in a closet and don't come out?
That would be the kind of the route one, I would have thought. Does he have a lawyer sitting kind of next to him just off camera? The potential for disaster here, I would have thought fairly high.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions that need answering. There's a lot of clarity that I think we'd all like to get. Maybe this is the opportunity. The tweets certainly haven't provided that clarity. In fact, they've been rather cryptic.
Yeah, and I also wonder, like, who is he speaking to? Like, who is he wanting to get a message to at this point?
Yeah, I think it's a bold move. And I mean that with a British accent, basically. It is a courageous move. I would imagine that lawyers are certainly going to watch with a great deal of interest on both sides.
Yeah.
On a number of sides.
Agreed.
Let's go to the story that we're watching in Silicon Valley this morning. Actually, it's happening in DC, but this still is the Silicon Valley startup. So let's talk about Apple. Apple CEO Tim Cook heading to Washington to meet with top Republican lawmakers. This is according to people familiar with the matter. For what's going on in the world of tech in Silicon Valley, San Francisco, and beyond. We go to San Francisco for the startup with Bloomberg Technology co-editor, co-anchor even. Sorry, I don't know why I read that wrong. Ed Ludlow.
Just remember, Ed, still got room for it to come down here and still look good for a rebound back up to the upside.
He's been making a number of visits to talk to the Republicans. Is there a meeting of minds between these two sides?
Some liquidity. Dollar index is making a nice push into that area of resistance.
At the centre of power in DC. Look at some of the names that we have reported is going to meet with. Republican Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio, Darrell Issa of California, Kathy McMorris Rogers of Washington. Those meetings all been set according to sources. What do they all have in common? You know, they're kind of three big names that are likely to chair some of the top committees that will have oversight of tech when the GOP takes control January 3rd. You know, this is wide-ranging. Apple, for a long time, has faced questions over antitrust. It has faced questions over data privacy, though it's been kind of the champion of protecting consumer data privacy. So it's an interesting move by Tim Cook, but it's also going back to a long-standing playbook.
Yep, and sort of the next iteration of what that kind of regulation will also look like. Hey, Ed, we will work the title in. We will figure this out. Thank you for joining us for The Startup. Ed Ludlow joining us there. All right, coming up, the U.S. is sending Ukraine additional aid to repair its infrastructure. We're going to speak with the Ukrainian energy minister on just how much they really need next. This is Bloomberg. With the pace of change today, you need to quickly mobilize teams around critical business initiatives. How quickly you can pivot and align teams is a competitive advantage. But old and inefficient ways of working are causing unnecessary friction, employee turnover, and frankly, costing companies millions in revenue. Leaders have a huge opportunity to break down barriers and really achieve bigger business objectives. Asana's
Really not
intuitive
much
and
price action on the
intelligent
back
work
end
management platform can absolutely help.
this jobs data.
At SAS, we love bold questions because with the right analytics, we make data do amazing things like make the world safer, faster, healthier, and kinder. All we have to do is ask the data. SAS.
I hate when I do this.
We're just about an hour into the U.S. trading session. We finally
got a
got
little bit
through
more room to
November.
push up
Just a
higher.
few more weeks to
So
go to the end of the
a
year.
little bit more
Bloomberg's
room to
Abigail
push
Newell
down
checking the
lower
moves
as well.
for us.
So
Abby? Well, what a month it's been, Alex.
yeah.
From the S&P 500 right now,
Something's
down a little
gonna
bit on the
give
day. But for
relatively
China
soon.
Tech, another big up day. If you had to name this chart, I would name it FOMO, because how much has changed over the last 3 days? Okay, to be fair, a fair amount in terms of the possibility of a reopening in China, but still up 17.3%. Investors wanting in on an index, the NASDAQ Golden Dragon Index, that China Tech, that is down more than 60% from its 2021 peak. As for the month that has been for other sectors, let's take a look at what's going on, because the S&P 500 eking out its second up month in a row, up more than 1%, up 1.9%. The chips related to China, really a poster boy for China. Anything related to China doing well on this reopening possibility. Plus, President Biden and President Xi did have a good meeting earlier this month, up 12.1%. The Dragon Golden Index, there it is, up 41% in a month. It's record, best month ever on record. And then Billy, this is ridiculous, up 92.4%. Now, they, of course, did put up a great quarter yesterday, but still up 92%, almost a double in 30 days. Don't you wish you had bought that not so long ago? As for the driver for some of the overall risk on, I would argue it is the dollar, because we have the dollar now down for a second month. One of the big themes this year has, of course, been yields down, stocks up, or the inverse. But yields this month are mixed. Last month, they were actually higher. Stocks were higher, but the Bloomberg Dollar Index has been down 2 months in a row. In fact, we're looking at the worst month going all the way back to 2009. Not surprisingly, that is putting a little bit of a bid under other risk assets, not just stocks. We have the commodity complex mainly higher, overall a little bit mixed. The oil is here. We have the S&P 500 energy sector down just a little bit on the day. Crude oil on the day up 3.6%. Copper up 2.2% on the month, up more than 10%. And then there's Apache down just a little bit. So it's really interesting, these massive moves that we're having on the month. I believe oil is down about 6%. Copper up more than 10%. It's going to be very interesting to see how December plays out. But I would say those two up months for the S&P 500. Is that the beginning of a trend to the upside? We're going to find out.
It's going to be interesting to watch, isn't it? Commodities are going to be fascinating. We're just getting the inventory data as well. We're going to be talking to BHP in the next hour. Abigail Doolittle, thank you very much indeed. NATO foreign ministers are gathering for a second day of talks in Bucharest. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says there is no weakening in the alliance's resolve to give Ukraine what it needs.
President Putin thinks that if he can just raise the costs high enough, the world will abandon Ukraine, that will leave them to fend for themselves. His strategy has not and will not work. We will continue to prove him wrong. That's what I heard loudly and clearly from every country here in Bucharest.
Herman Halushenko is Ukraine's Minister of Energy. Minister, thank you very much indeed for your time today. I am sure you are a very, very busy man. We have seen significant numbers of Russian attacks on your infrastructure.
We can get a nice bit of resistance here on the dollar index and make a nice little wick on the top. We could see crypto push up higher here. If we get a break at this level, then it does look like we're going to come down to that 100 moving average on the 15-minute on Bitcoin.
Right. So from the 10th of October, we are almost under every day attacked on the energy infrastructure. So the Russian target energy almost every day from the 10th of October. So we are almost 2 months on these attacks. Some days it was massive attacks, like up to 100 missiles. So, and of course, it's influenced the level of destruction of the energy system. Why it's very important is support which we already received from our partners and received from all countries around the world. Now we are talking about any kinds of equipment. First of all, we are talking about the high voltage equipment, transformers, after transformers, or any kind of generators, everything which could be used to repair quickly and to survive the winter.
Minister, at this moment, can you import electricity from Europe, and can you still export natural gas through to Europe? Is that infrastructure able to do it?
We have possibility to import electricity from Europe now, so we now have some test import, very small amounts, but of course we can also increase this according to our agreements with NSOE. Concerning the gas, so we are still transit gas to Europe, according to our agreements with our partners.
See how things going to play out. If we don't get anything in the next
your foreign minister, Kuleba, was talking about this earlier, saying that there are issues surrounding the importing of transformers into Ukraine. What are those issues right now?
I mean, the issue, of course, it's we had some technical difficulties in this issue because the voltage in Ukraine differs from voltage in Europe. But today we are looking for already, and we find some technical solutions how to adapt the voltage in these transformers in Ukraine and to use it.
At the same time, you're looking at, as you're dealing with these deliberate strikes from Russia, what are your plan B,
By the way,
C,
guys, our
D,
Litecoin
and F?
trade is about $1 away from entry.
Of course, we had a number of scenarios. The most important task for us is to maintain the energy system. What Russians did, I mean, what they are trying to achieve, they're trying to split Ukrainian energy system, to cut it from European energy grids, and to split it in Ukraine. So, and our task is to maintain the system as a whole.
We'll get a
And
very nice
it would
push up
help us
higher.
to generate and to
On
transmit
Matic,
electricity from
it
one
has
country,
been holding
one part of the country to the
relatively
other.
well compared to
That
a
is
lot of
what
these
we want to
altcoins
achieve. The situation when, for
over the
instance, in
course
the
of
West,
today.
where we had nuclear
So
station, we
let's
could
see.
produce electricity, but have no possibility to transmit it, for instance, to the center part of Ukraine. So, and that's creates a deficit in the center, and we need to restrict production in the West.
As a result, what a lot of people are doing is relying on portable generators, Minister. And what you're effectively seeing is a fragmentation of the grid. Sorry, let me repeat that. Sorry. A lot of people are relying on portable generators now.
Dollar index is at 107 at the very, very top of its resistance. So hopefully we can start seeing a little bit of a turnaround here.
I'm thinking we may have lost the minister, which is unfortunate. Alex, this is the big problem.
It's finding a little bit of resistance here.
As the minister laid out is, even if they have the ability to be able to generate the power, they don't have the ability to transmit the power. And as a result of which, you're seeing different parts of the country being cut off at different times, which is why people are having to rely on portable generators just to keep the lights on. Heating's a completely different matter as well.
Right, in terms of Bitcoin, on the lower time frame, right,
in terms of your
what we
fuel
want
generator
to see
question,
is
which you mentioned, is that you need fuel to do that. So is there the fuel to actually make that happen? Which then raises the question, how much natural gas, for example, has Ukraine been able to store? Getting it somewhere is one question, and also how much they are able to have is yet another question.
Starting to turn around on the lower time frame.
I realised that the grid's operated on a different power system as well. I guess that probably highlights kind of the challenge of importing power. It needs to then go through a whole system to change the amplitude, wattage, or whatever it is that needs to change. So therefore you can't import. I hadn't even considered that they were operating on two different systems. It's like having a railway on two different gauges. That is a massive problem.
Yes, it is. And I think we have Herman back. Herman, are you with us now? Can you hear us?
Sorry.
Excellent. Good. I'm glad. The question that Guy had been asking is that many people are buying generators, but you need fuel for that. Is there enough fuel? Are we seeing panic buying?
No, it's enough fuel, so
seeing a nice wick on the top, as you can see. So hopefully we can start making a move down. If that's the case, then we want to see that push up. We want to see a break of 63,900.
Do you need more of these portable generators? Is that something also that the West can provide?
But we really do need to make a move soon.
One of the equipment which we
if we start not making a move, then it's looking like we're going to come down to this level around here.
Now supported to Ukraine. And supply to Ukraine.
So your breaker structure will be from either of these 2 points. We break through here, we look good to move up. If we break down here, we're looking like we're coming down to this level of support.
How quickly do you think we can get that kind of supply?
On the 15-minute. And if we continue looking weak,
I hope
we're coming all the way down to this order block. So you can see here we got a nice order block here. Previous structure.
That it will be? Do you get any reassurance from the West that you'll be able to secure that kind of supply of generators quickly?
We already received generators. I must say, all this help and all this aid of equipment we started to receive from the first day of the big war started. But now, due to this October shellings and everyday shellings to the energy infrastructure, so we increase the level of this supply from our partners, and it looks like this supply becomes quickly and quickly.
So that's the issue with electricity. Can you talk me through how you are going to keep
the
Ukrainian
very stagnant.
What are the plans if we continue to see the kind of missile strikes that we're seeing right now in order to keep the heating on? Transmitting electricity is a huge problem. Heating tends to be more local.
Really starting to
what is the plan there? I see you're kind of creating shelters, heat shelters effectively for people to go to.
Got the shelters which we created in all the country. That is in case we would have no electricity, no heating. And that is a temporary solution. What we need time to repair the system in case if they destroy everything. Let's assume. But
Matic is starting to make a move up high, which is nice to see.
Let's say this happens. So we need time to restart the system again. and it would take us not hours, probably days. And in this situation, of course, we need these shelters for people.
So look at our profits on Matic so far.
Of course, we feel that
Currently
we
up 18% on Matic.
to restart the energy system, and then the heating also.
Last question before we let you go. How much natural gas does Ukraine have right now to get through the winter? Can you give me a sense of the storage?
Now in storages, we have something around 14 BCM of gas.
All right, Herman, we appreciate it. Stay warm, stay safe. Thank you so much
Matic looks
for
quite
joining
good
us
to make
again,
a move
Herman
up higher, guys.
Halushenko, Ukraine's Minister of Energy. Thank you very much. All right, coming up, Lamborghini going off-road here. The luxury sports car maker unveiling its limited edition. Is it Huracan? Guy?
I don't know, but it's Sterato, which I think means gravel. So I think they're going a little off-road. Anyway,
Okay.
272,000 is the price tag. It's a limited edition.
Right, so
Stefan Winkelmann is back at Lamborghini. He is the CEO. He is the chairman.
Dollar
And down
Index
there is an
finding a little
actor.
bit of
He's going to join us
short-term
next.
support
This
here.
is Bloomberg.
Just testing some levels out, waiting to break and make an actual definitive move here. Just not seeing a whole load of volatility right now. In terms of our Matic trade though, it's looking good. We are starting to get a push up high, we'll show you here. We go over to Matic. See a nice push up. We need that breach of 875. We're able to breach that and we're looking good for a nice push up higher. Quick touch on dollar index, as you can see. Going 26% up on Matic.
People are always talking about the future of work, but we're living in that future. Collaboration
Seeing a
enables
nice bit
teams
of
to
a bit, but we
respond
really
much
do want to
faster
start making a
and
move
act
back
more
down.
decisively. By adopting the right technology, leaders create structure for their organization and empower their workforce to achieve key objectives. It improves efficiency, employee morale, and reduces quit rates. So, in the long run, technology is really everything.
At SAS, we love bold questions because with the right analytics, we make data do amazing
Right,
things,
gonna
like
set some
make the world
levels.
safer.
Okay, guys, so
healthier,
we're gonna love you and leave
all
you.
we have to do is ask the data. SAS.
Yeah, and it just looks like the market's waiting for that Jerome Powell speech. So we're gonna come back online just about half an hour prior to the speech. Yeah, we're not allowed to keep these streams running all day long and going off and on it and just letting the news play. We got called out for it. So unfortunately we have to cancel the stream and restart it when we're back. So we'll do it in segments and we'll come back online just prior to the Fed speech and hopefully we get some bit more momentum, bit more volume. For now, we're just going to test some levels. Just record 16.9 as your resistance level to break. And then we got 16.770 as your support to break. And then your support level is between 16.725 and 16.675. If we break through that, we'll be looking about 16.550. If we break up, again, it's the take profits that we had on our chart. So let me just get it up here for you. Take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3, 17.082, take profit 1, 17.271, take profit 2, take profit 3, 17.407. So yeah, you've got some levels there for just keep a touch on. Okay. So yeah, we'll get back to you guys a bit later on when the Fed speech comes up. So thank you. Let's see where we can go from here, but just very, very slow movement on that data. So yeah, cheers, and we'll see you in just a few hours. Thank you.